Here live on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show. Yep, breaking in with a nice slow song for you, as always. I want you to kind of get in the mood for what kind of topics and discussions we'll talk about this evening. Definitely want to make you feel comfortable and calm here on the coolest of the cool, the Coolly Cool Show. Your host, Brent. All right, we're going to get it started off with a discussion today. One thing is heard, I don't know whether this is true or not, but apparently it was on Facebook, and it said that they're coming with another movie, a fourth transition or fourth addition to the Matrix. Matrix 4, yes, ladies and gentlemen. And they said that the former cast plans on being in that fourth movie. For me, I think it's mind-blowing that the fact that they're having another addition to the Matrix. I mean, one could only speculate what kind of things or storyline and kind of special effects. That's the first thing, really look at the aspect of the story. You kind of look at more of the special effects. Since the Matrix, when it first came out in 1999, the first one, it was noted for its amazing special effects team that actually transitioned a lot of the works that you see today in motion picture. It was well ahead of its time, and followed by two other, I'm not going to say successful sequels, but I'm going to say two additional sequels. The first one, The Matrix, obviously was magnificent, the best in its series, and then was followed up by two other movies that I think kind of fell a little bit below the waistline because it started to kind of make it a little bit too complex in it. But that's what I'm kind of wondering sometimes. I'm like, what are they doing in Hollywood? I think, are they running out of ideas? Are they not sure what they want to do or what direction? I'm pretty sure this thought process for the Matrix 4 probably has been in the works for quite some time. It's probably been thought of, but they haven't kind of came up with a good storyline to add another movie to the regime to this. So obviously, if so, they actually probably have thought this out very well in detail in order for it to make sense and for it to flow correctly. That's the only way I can see it possible. Maybe it might be a prequel of some sort of speak, probably showing the beginning origins of the Matrix, where shows what Neo and got into his hacking days before he before he got out of the Matrix. But I highly doubt that one because I think people want to see Neo kick some ass, the Kung Fu style. I think that's probably more of a real type of scenario, storyline. Because you got to have Neo fighting. You got to have Neo be the man. You got to have him do the martial arts and everything. I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see where they're going to go with this. I mean, there's also some other movies that are in the mix. Just recently saw the preview for Rambo 4, I believe it. Rambo, I can't remember what other Rambo it is, or I think it's just called Rambo. It was starring Sylvester Stallone. I think that is gonna put a question mark up with that one. I'm a big Rambo fan. I've seen all the Rambos. Rambo First Blood, Rambo 2, and then Rambo 3, where he was fighting in Afghanistan. So he went from fighting his own wars at home to fighting the wars back in Vietnam and then fighting a war in Afghanistan. And now, from the looks of it, it seems that Rambo is fighting on all fronts, if I can believe it. I don't have a clue. But if you get a chance to check it out on YouTube and see what you think, get back to me, leave a comment, message, or whatever, and we can talk about how this movie could be good or not. Me personally, I don't know. I mean, I thought Rambo. I mean, at this point in time, Rambo is a Vietnam veteran, and he's probably damn near pushing 70. So we'll just have to see how that plays out. Trying to think of any other ones. Oh, obviously they have a new. If you haven't seen it, it's a new Top Gun movie. It's Maverick Top Gun, or I believe it's Top Gun Maverick, Maverick Top Gun, one of the two, starring Tom Cruise, who is in the movie. You obviously got to have Maverick in it. The preview looked pretty good. Looked hardcore. A lot of visual effects. A lot of the scene from it, from the fighter pilot, the cockpit area scene. That's from the preview. Um, Definitely look at it. It looks pretty hardcore, but at the same time, I know many people were kind of wondering how in the hell, or how in the blue balls hell, is Tom Cruise only a goddamn captain? He was a lieutenant when the first Top Gun, and that was in '85, I believe. And yeah, apparently 34 years, and he still hasn't moved up rank that much. And some people say, "Oh, well, that's very possible it happened." Well, it's only possible if you do probably get the hell out of the Navy and then come back in at some point in time. But I don't even see that even possibly happening. But I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Could be wrong. Definitely, if somebody knows, actually leave a comment. Let me know. I think the movie might be a real hit. I think they've probably taken their time. I don't think Tom Cruise would have signed on it just to do another movie. I think he probably looked at the script, see how well it was written, and kind of decided to go along with it. Um, Seems pretty. Eh, well, let's just say we're gonna say wait and see what that entails. Um, what other? I'm trying to think of any other movies or remakes they've been trying to do so far. Um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, jeez. Well, one of the last remake movies that I did happen to say was my wife and I had watched Halloween with Jamie Lee Curtis in it, the 2018 version. And that movie was well, let's get something straight. My wife is not a big Halloween person. She doesn't like Michael Myers at all. So there's something about the mask and him and how he walks and how he just has tremendous amount of power or whatever or evil she doesn't like. So I was able to coax her into watching the movie, and we got to watch it. And for her, she said, "Oh, that really wasn't that scary." You know, usually from the other movies of Halloween are a little bit more in depth, but this movie was kind of seemed a little bit mundane. I don't know. Something about it wasn't. The preview itself was more frightening, more scarier than actually watching the movie itself. I don't know whether it might have had a little cornball comedy side parts they had in the movie that made it that way, but obviously it wasn't of that Halloween feel watching it that many people of us are accustomed to remembering what Michael Myers represents and what the movies of Halloween represent. Um, that's like for a long time they were doing a lot of the Nightmare on Elm Street where Freddy was constantly keep coming back and back and back, and this guy would not stop. But I tell you right now, growing up, that was one of my favorite horror movies to watch. Even though it's kind of traditional, a guy can get in your dreams and he can take you out. You'd probably as a little kid be scared to go to sleep. But I kind of thought it was funny. But I believe the first one was a very good premise. Then the rest of them started to kind of trickle off into the comedy aspect side. And I mean, Freddy Krueger was doing things that was like, okay, he's right now making a mockery, and he's just going along with the kind of fun side of what he was doing. The scary aspect wasn't really much to it. Then you actually had them actually do a remake of the original first one, but it was supposed to be a little bit more darker, a little more sinister. Supposed to be of the new millennium, the new generation of scary movie. And this one, I might say, it really, to me, watching it, it wasn't that really um, good by my own account. Only the fact that it was just pushing too much hard to make it as a very dark and scary premise of a movie, to make this dream guy that comes here very much more real. And I think that's where many of us who have seen Nightmare on Elm Street and know of the character of Freddy Krueger and have seen the other films, you're kind of like, you can't make a really dark premise and then you want to add a little spin to it about what he was doing, and it just didn't seem it, because why would anybody watch a character like that in the rest of the other films? But I guess they're trying, because I guess they're falling. I'm sorry. I guess they're running out of ideas. But maybe if Hollywood comes knocking on my door, maybe I can give them a movie or two, or a good idea. Uh, but yeah, there's a lot of some remakes that are going on. I know for a while, The Purge and their saga movies was very up out there, might I say. I mean, when I first saw The Purge, my wife had introduced it to me. She actually had watched the first one, and I didn't know anything about The Purge movie. Actually, to backtrack it, I want to say I heard about the second Purge, The Purge 2, and it was on TV, and I was kind of wondering what it was. And then my wife had said, she had watched the first Purge, and I think I was at work or something, and she had watched it, or I think she'd watched it with her sister, and she was telling me that it was okay. So I wanted to watch it, and I actually kind of liked the premise of it. I thought it was actually a kind of really good written premise of a movie, where what would happen if United States of America decided to have one night where all crime was illegal. That's some scary shit, and it's focused on basically one family protecting their house, where an individual, their son, decided to let a person from outside in, and with this group of people who were going down in the neighborhood, and they were looking for him so that they can pretty much do whatever. And the family has to defend off and all this, and the next door neighbors and all that stuff. But I thought it was actually a very good premise. But then the sequels kind of started to, it just started to kind of veer off a little bit. And then you had I guess the first Purge, which is the latest transition of all the movies, and it itself, I thought it wasn't. It pretty much, it looked like they were trying to earn a quick buck, and that's what they kind of do with some of these sequels. I don't Like I said, Hollywood, I don't really know what you're doing. Are you running out of ideas, thoughts, concerns, comments? But, well, so it is what it is. We'll see what new ones come out, or what new remakes, or any sequels that tend to happen. But I'm going to leave you with some, a little bit more tunes as we go off. Remember, you heard it here live on the Coolest of the Cool, the Coolly Cool Show. Your host, Brent. Be sure to follow us subscribe on my YouTube channel. It's called Coolly Cool, the Coolly Cool Show. So, hope everybody has a good night and rest of their evening, wherever you may be. God bless.